I think everyone was very shocked yesterday when Molly-Mae put out that statement that she'd split with Tommy. Now, it came completely out of the blue and no one knew why. Well, I've had some very interesting phone calls this morning, and I've now had it confirmed that Molly actually dumped Tommy after learning that he cheated on her. Now, we understand that Molly believes Tommy cheated on her multiple times, and that actually when she confronted him and spoke to him about it, he didn't deny anything. Now, from what we understand from people close to Molly, Molly is absolutely devastated by this. Her and Tommy were in a relationship for 5 years. They were madly in love. They were planning their wedding. He only proposed last year. From the outside, they seemed absolutely picture perfect. But these bombshell claims have absolutely knocked Molly for six. She's devastated, heartbroken. She's now at home being supported by her family. Now, no one saw this coming at all, least of all Molly's millions of fans. I mean, ever since leaving Love Island, Molly became hugely popular in her own right. She's got almost 2 million subscribers on YouTube, almost 8 million followers on Instagram. And I mean, it was like a bolt out of the blue for all of us. And it's very sad to say that, yeah, Molly's absolutely heartbroken. She has made these allegations against Tommy. And as far as we can tell, he's yet to refute them. He's now moved out of the family home where Molly's living with Bambi, their little girl. She's being supported by her family and all her friends. I know Anushka Santos, who's the partner of Luke Shaw, the Three Lions player. She's been a huge support to Molly and was there yesterday when Molly released the statement and put it out on Instagram. We're now being told that Molly doesn't want to comment further, which completely makes sense. Her main concern is for her daughter and her privacy, and basically wanting to keep life as normal as possible for her. But I think Molly didn't see this coming, and it's been an absolutely devastating blow. I think the allegations of Tommy's cheating will absolutely rock their fans. From the outside, Molly and Tommy just seem picture perfect. They had what people would think is a perfect life. They had a beautiful house, a beautiful baby, and they always seemed so madly in love. I mean, when he took her off and staged this elaborate stunt to propose, from what it looked like from an outsider's point of view, was this was a man who was absolutely besotted by Molly. He was blown away by her. All he wanted to do was make her his wife. But actually now what has come to pass is that actually he has cheated on her. She firmly believes this. She stands by it. She has spoken to him about it. And she's left him. And I think now she'll be trying to pick up the pieces. And I think fans who looked at them as this perfect couple and maybe emulated their relationship with their own will be incredibly saddened to hear that this is how it's ended. I think for a number of months now, people have been speculating about the state of Tommy and Molly's relationship. Obviously, he's a professional boxer. We saw last year in October when he beat KSI in the ring that Tommy, like his brother Tyson, is so he's a consummate professional, and ultimately he takes these training camps very seriously, and that means a long time away from home, with Molly left at home holding the baby, supporting Tommy's career like he has appeared to have on the surface supported hers. And I think recently in her last vlog post she mentioned that Tommy had been recording the audio series for his book, which again takes up a huge amount of time. So she's alluded to the fact that she's been solo parenting for the last 2 or 3 weeks, that he's not really been there for her, that she's found that incredibly difficult. Now, if you put that together with what we know now, it tells a bit more of a telling picture. I think also they live relatively different lives in a sense, although they're together. Tommy, you'll often see off on holiday. He likes to party. There were photographs of him earlier this year in nightclubs. And people were speculating, fans were saying, well, where's Molly? It's quite disrespectful that you're out with these girls. But on the surface, she never seemed to be too bothered. She, I think, was very confident in their relationship, felt very trusting, and didn't seem to mind a huge amount. I think she knew that ultimately, or at that time, she knew or believed that he was the man coming home to her. Now, one of my colleagues actually caught up with Tommy at Soccer Aid earlier this year. And normally Tommy would always be very effusive when talking about Molly. He would always be very keen and gushing. You could just tell he absolutely adored her. But when we sort of broached him about the relationship and asked about the wedding and the wedding planning, he was really quite cagey about it. Now, I wasn't too surprised at the time because he's a bloke. It's a very a masculine thing they're doing. They're all together playing football. Nobody wants to talk about, the girly wedding planning. But it was quite striking to me that Tommy didn't want to talk about it. And now what I know, it kind of makes more sense. Well, there's no doubt that these are absolutely bombshell revelations. Tommy, I assume, will be reeling that the truth is coming out. And Molly, obviously, is the victim in all of this. She is the one who feels like she's been wronged, and she's incredibly upset. But ultimately, I think in both their statements, you can see, and from conversations I've had this morning, that Bambi, their daughter, is the one person they're focused on in this. I don't think this will ever turn into a public slanging match. I don't think they'll ever publicly trade words about it. I think that will all be dealt with in private, because there are ramifications to come and things they need to speak about. But I do think that will be taken and done away from the public eye. I cannot imagine either of them sitting down and talking about this in depth. If anything, I believe that in a few weeks, in a few months, Molly might actually vlog. YouTube is where she feels most comfortable. I mean, she even said she finds TikTok a scary place, because I think, you know, she's got such a connection with her fans, and talking to them like I'm talking to you now is where she feels most comfortable and where she feels she can share. So I think we're not going to expect any of that. And ultimately, the focus is on their little girl. They know that whatever is printed or whatever goes online or is said between them will exist on the internet forever. And I think that Molly especially is thinking about that for Bambi and what she might read in the future.